Hello, my name is Baxter Moss, and my presentation is going to be on water consumption for energy use. My research questions for this project were: are there regulations on how water can be used or how much water can be used in specific scenarios in the United States? What protections are in place to aid with the preservation of wildlife? And are there regulations that allow for certain amounts of water to be polluted or prevent water from becoming polluted through specific energy creating or consumption processes? For my first question, are there regulations on how water can be used or how much water can be used in specific scenarios in the United States? There was no definitive answer on this one, although there are different laws in different states, different counties, and different cities for how much water can be used during a drought situation. I know personally from experience in San Antonio, uh, we were limited to only being able to water the grass once every other Sunday in the middle of drought season, and in recent years that's kind of gone away, but if it was to be implemented again, it's already there. So for my second question on what protections are in place to aid with the preservation of wildlife, for the first one, we have the Migratory Bird Act, which protects any migratory bird from being killed or captured or hunted unless otherwise permitted. Which, I mean, that's just kind of any bird that can fly, really. And then we also have the Endangered Species Act for any species of animals who are going through endangerment. One that I know that we use a lot in wind energy examples is the prairie chickens because they're not the brightest bird. They'll run into pretty much anything and kill themselves, and that's probably why they're endangered, but we're not allowed to be able to kill them or harm them in any way, shape, or form. So for my final question on this research, are there laws and regulations that allow for certain amounts of water to be polluted or prevent water from becoming polluted through specific energy creating or consumption processes? I was not able to find much on it, but I was able to find a little bit on the BP oil spill. So with the BP oil spill, there were repercussions for how much oil did end up getting spilled into the ocean, and BP did have to pay for fishermen and for any lost wages when it came to anyone who was working on the coast, like shops that sold seashells or people who captured wild fish out of the sea, cleaning up the blobs of oil along the coast. It was pretty expensive to be able to do that kind of stuff. So there are repercussions that go into place when there is a disaster like such, but there's nothing really in place on preventing it from happening per se. So in conclusion, with the research that I've been able to do for this paper, there still needs to be a lot of groundwork done when it comes to things such as fracking, because right now we don't really have much information on fracking when it comes to the repercussions on the environment itself. We do know the economic repercussions on if we do and don't have it in place, but as for the environment, it's not too studied. It's not something that we're really looking into at the moment. I'm not exactly sure why. But the more we study it, I'm sure the more that we're going to be able to find things that are affected by the water pollution caused by the chemicals that are used for fracking itself. Because, I mean, it kills birds already when they just drink the water, and you're not allowed to drink well water that's been contaminated with chemicals from fracking. So there's a few things that we can do in regards to researching that, as well as the seismic activity that has to go on with areas that are high in the fracking culture. So from that, what I will be doing in the future is going to be looking into um, more research on water pollution caused by fracking and what we can do to prevent that, and also um, what's going on with the seismic activity as well.